All right, everybody. We're going to get rolling on this thing. My name is Jeremiah Taylor. I'm co-founder here at BrokerBot slash Ribera AI. I'm very excited to share with you all everything that we've been working on. Some of you that are current customers of our platform, this is going to serve as a really useful tour through what's possible within our platform. We have now close to 150 companies live on our technology, tens of thousands of agents actively using it every day. And what I'll tell you is that I can name the five that have actually gone through and maximized what you can do with our platform. And so our goal for today is to help the other 135 of you uh, understand what you can do with the platform so that we can move you towards maximizing your engagement with the platform. So you're getting max value out of it. And then in good CEO form, I'm going to tell you about all the stuff that we're working on that we typically tell the team not to share so that we don't make promises that we don't commit to. And so, oh, I love what Brett just said. Is there some place that we can see our maximization score? Max, I think we should name it a maximization score after Max. Um, it's amazing. It's a great idea. Brett, no, but that's amazing. Yeah, I think we're gonna call it. Oh, I like Bruce's, the Maximo score. We could definitely do that. Let me get a lay of the land really quick now that we have chat working. Who is a current customer? Who is here checking us out for the first time? Who's agents? Who's leadership? Just go in there and comment and say like leadership, agent, current customer, checking you all out, staff, current agent, new agent. Yeah, there we go. Uh, what's amazing is I woke up with a cold today. I don't often sound like James Earl Jones, but when we do 300-person webinars, that's the perfect time to sound like James Earl Jones. So Max is here in the event that I told the team, I said, look, if I just fall over, Max, just you start talking and like all my Apple Watch will save me. Don't worry about me. Just like keep going. Awesome. Okay, cool. So lots of agents, lots of current leadership, lots of y'all up and running, have been using it for a while. Rock and roll. So today, our run of show is I will give you an end-to-end tour of what we've built in BrokerBot. I want to help you all think about ways that we can use the tool more effectively, start to show you some of what's possible. And then I want to show you some of what we're working on next. So I'm going to screen share a little bit. I see a few hands up. If at any time you have questions or anything else that you want to do, hey, BrokerBot team, if you guys could just manage this Q&A and close these tickets out so that they're not up on my screen, that would be amazing. And then flag anything from me that I need to talk about, that'd be great. Then what I'll do is I'm going to take you all through the platform, and then I'm going to give you a sneak peek of some of the latest stuff we're working on that may not even be live in some of your accounts yet, of what's coming soon. And then I want to show you like a little bit of roadmap around where we're going next year, and then take an opportunity at the end to do some Q&A. And so I'm going to just warn you for the next probably 15 to 20 minutes, I'm mostly going to be talking at you, but a lot of this is about how you can maximize our platform in your day-to-day real estate businesses, as well as both for agents and for leaders. And so what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with a really simple slide. And I'm going to screen share this slide and I'm going to throw it up here. So this is BrokerBot that you know, or well, that you may not know that you use every day. BrokerBot is an artificially intelligent assistant. Now, by definition, it's an agent. In our world, we call it an assistant because when we think of real estate agents, or when we think of agents, we think of real estate agents. This assistant sits at the middle of a very sophisticated routing layer that has a number of tools that it can call. Those tools represent the work and the utility that BrokerBot can do on behalf of you and your business. Now, these tools here, they're not fully exhaustive. Some of them you'll see that there's duplicates, and that's because it can do the same thing in more than one way. So what this is meant to do is to help stretch your brain. Because when you think about what's possible with this technology, it's how do you connect together these different pieces of the tool? Meaning, it can now, if you are part of our Google beta, it can now look at your calendar, it can read and write things to your Google Calendar. It can read and write things to your Gmail. It can go do searches on the internet. And so what we're starting to see is in brokerages, teams, and individual users across the country, people putting together these workflows to put BrokerBot to work to take things that take typically hours down to minutes or seconds. And I'll give you a really simple example is external web and property data. Every brokerage across the country has a roster of agents. We exist because of our agents. Those agents all have licenses. Those licenses all expire at some point in time, right? And so at every brokerage, you have to regularly check on when do my agent's licenses expire? And when they expire, I need to let the agents know that they need to renew those. Well, with BrokerBot, what we're seeing is a lot of our customers now have figured out, well, if I provision in the web crawler the Department of Real Estate for my state, then I can ask BrokerBot to go look up all my agent license expiration dates and give those back to me. And then one of the new tools that we've created in the platform is BrokerBot can now output a CSV for you. So then you can say, now here's my agent roster, or maybe you already have your agent roster in the database. So now get my agent roster and add emails for all of those agents to that. And so now BrokerBot can do that and add the agent emails. And then for those that are in the Google beta, we're even seeing the leadership saying, now send an email to all the agents that have their license expire in the next 3 months, 2 months, whatever, reminding them to renew. And that process that used to take somebody in a large brokerage of 1,000, 2,000 agents days takes seconds or minutes. And that's a really simple example of what I call tool orchestration, where you're starting to use BrokerBot just in the same way that you would ask a human assistant to do things for you. So for those of you that have been on the platform for a long time, it may have only had knowledge base when you first started. You may have never used training and learning. You may have never used web search. You've certainly never used escalations because we have it turned off for most of you. So this is the like high level what's possible. And I'll take you through the platform a little bit to show this off. But I want to share with you where we're at. And I think this is really impressive. BrokerBot started commercially 197 days ago. It's 6 months. So we've been working on the technology for quite some time, but we launched our first commercial customer 197 days ago. In 197 days, we've launched 141 offices. There's 13,500. It's now like 14,300 because this is a week old. Agents that have actually logged in and used BrokerBot, and it's answered over 100,000 questions. Yeah, 14,301. Thanks, Reggie. And I love that. And it's answered over 100,000 questions and saved tens of thousands of hours for brokerages across the country. Just to put this in perspective, I had a real aha moment on this the other day. 1% of the National Association of Realtors has logged in and used BrokerBot in the last 6 months. That's crazy. The only platforms that we see that get that kind of adoption and usage are things like Transaction Desk, DocuSign, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we're really excited about the progress that we've made so far. But I want to talk a little bit about where we're going as we get into the platform demo. So this is where BrokerBot started, right? It was a really simple thought that every day agents need support from their brokerage. And often that support could be found by just reading something, finding a resource. But, look, agents are busy. We're all out in the field. We're all trying to sell real estate and make a living. And so that's why agents often just call the broker or call the brokerage and have somebody help them. And so we thought that was a great place to insert generative AI. And so we started here. Well, now with our new groups functionality, we can support agent teams right within the brokerage for the agent teams playbook and everything. And I know that very few of you have actually set this up. So part of this today is a nudge to get in there and help your teams get set up so that they can learn about this. But then what we're seeing now is as we've integrated the ability to send texts out from BrokerBot to connect to your Gmail, to your Google Calendar. What we're seeing is agents start to leverage BrokerBot in their client communications, meaning not just like, hey, tell me how I should draft this email to my client, but actually draft the email, send it, review a contract, send calendar invites, et cetera, et cetera. And some even inviting BrokerBot into three-way text with their clients directly so that it can chat with them. And that agent client relationship, as we integrate more systems into BrokerBot, will get smarter and stronger. And so, what I want you all to think about is what's possible as we bring in your transaction management systems, your CRM system. We have built our own CRM inside the back end of BrokerBot so that we can map together what client goes with what transaction, with what brokerage, with what agent. And in the same way that we just intelligently support you and your associates, we'll now be able to support those clients as we work on those future integrations. And that is our biggest focus for quarters 1 and 2 of 2025 is continuing to further down that integration path. Our big, hairy, audacious bet with this technology is that if we do this really well and we get this right, and we can deliver an artificially intelligent executive assistant for every real estate agent in America that will provide value not just for the agent, but for the client. And if we do that, it's possible that we could earn the right to live in the home with the client well beyond the actual transaction and finally have a way to solve the evergreen problem in real estate, which is that at the end of that transaction, 80% of your clients say they would use you again, and only 13% do. And we believe that this is really the promise of artificial intelligence is that it can continue to do work and persist in the real world, hands-free for you and your associates, and that we can do this in a way to where we are helping support your vendors, your network of people, and driving value on your behalf as your artificially intelligent assistant throughout the life of your relationship with these people, not just the transaction. So it's a little bit of a tease of what we're working on and what we're building towards. I'm curious. I see William's question, and I actually want to talk about that for a second. But give me a reaction, like thumbs up, thumbs down, like, that's kind of cool. Or like, oh my gosh, you are changing the future of real estate. All right, Max gave me rockets, which I like rockets. Drop in chat. What's your reaction? I see some hearts, some thumbs ups. Amazing. All right, that's good. So it seems like you all are generally excited about what we're working on. I love Bill is the devil's always in the details, which is 100% true. Um, okay, cool. Couple questions. So there's a question, and this question comes up a lot, which is, will BrokerBot be able to fill in agreements for clients? The short answer to that is technically today, that is not a technical limitation. Like we can fill in a contract. It's super easy to do. The reason we don't fill in your contract is that every association of realtors, state board, and all the people that provide those forms for you to fill out, they all have licensing fees and agreements. And we cannot like violate or breach or just start filling in contracts for those people. And some of the larger associations, those agreements are millions of dollars a year to do that. So you have two approaches that you can take to this problem as a technology company. Either I can pass that cost on to you as customers, or I can raise a bunch of money and go pay those things and do it. Or I can use your existing service providers that already have the agreements, and I can generate the contracts inside of their platform. Our current thinking is that we will go route two. Now, what I'll tell you is that most of the existing service providers they're currently not able to give us an API to where we can fill the contracts out in their platform with our AI tools. But I think that's just a matter of time. So, William, I think there's several companies that are working on what you're talking about as a product all of its own. And what we will do is we will continue to look for who is the best in class provider that can just fill out promulgated forms. And we will stitch it in as a tool in the same way that we have stitched in all these other tools. Because the thing that really makes BrokerBot special is that we're not trying to be everything to everyone. We've created a sophisticated plumbing project, if you will, that allows us to stitch together all the best in class tools and manage them with our thinking wrapper so that they can work for you without you having to learn like a new skill set of how to be a prompt engineer, et cetera. So I love that question. That's a really good question. Um, what else? Any other questions before I jump in? Hmm. All right. Hmm. Max, any thoughts before I jump into the product demo? No? All right. We're good. Rock and roll. I'm going to share my whole screen. And when I do this, I want to take you through the functionality that we have built here over the last year. Um, this is our core platform. At the core of it, I want to help you all understand what's happening under the hood. And I'm going to do that by asking a really simple thing of our platform. Is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to grab a demo doc. This is a set of CCNRs, and I'm going to ask it a really simple question. And that question is just, can I park an RV here? Now, when I ask it that question, a lot of you have seen me do this demo. What's going to happen is that BrokerBot's going to respond, and it's going to look at this document. And this document here, it's pretty dirty. You've all seen CCNRs. We're all real estate people. If you just take and you search through this document and you try to find anything about RV parking, if you use an OCR model, it's not going to find it because you can't read it. So some of these other LLM models, they use what's called a VLM or computer vision to read things like a human. What we have built inside of our platform is thousands of bench tests. Those bench tests give us the ability to evaluate the different models for their strengths and their weaknesses. As of today, we have the ability to call on over 500 different large language models and tools inside of BrokerBot. But the magic that we do is that we don't ask you as the user to figure out which tools are good or bad at what. And so what we do is we just dynamically figure out based on what the user gave us, what's the right model to call, and we return a trustable response immediately. And so you'll see here, it just immediately reviews this and it gives me the section back. Now, a lot of you have probably tried something like this in ChatGPT or Anthropic, and you've had mixed results. And that's the beauty of our platform is we have, for something like this, we're probably calling either Mistral or Claude Opus. What many of you may not recognize is for you to get access to Mistral, Opus, Sonnet, or OpenAI's 5.1, or Gemini Pro, Nano Banana Pro, you would be paying about $500 a month per person just in AI subscriptions to have access to these models that we have wired in from the back end inside of BrokerBot. And more importantly, you don't even need to learn which one does what the best. We just do it for you magically. But where the tools start to really get interesting is after I've had it find the thing. Now, what I said to BrokerBot here is I said, I need you to put this in a format that's appropriate that I can text. If you have verified your phone number in BrokerBot, it already knows your cell phone number. It calls a tool and it sends me a quick text summary uh, of this exact thing that I'm looking at. And so you'll see here, and my screen is blurred. So trust me what it says. Hey, based on Desert Casita CCNRs, RVs can't be parked here or stored. Gives a quick summary on what's going on. I can now forward that to my client. And then I even say, thanks, I need to email this. The client's name is Max. Now, what you saw it do here is it searched through my Google contacts, my Gmail contacts, and my contacts in the BrokerBot system. And it says, I found all these different contacts. Which is the right one? You want me to use this one? And I said, yep, that one. It then drafts the email to Max, puts it all together, and then all I have to do is say, thanks, send it. And it has the ability to go right into my Gmail and send it from my connected Gmail account. This is what's become possible with all of the different tool orchestration that we have built. And so you're seeing here live, it's actually firing this email over to Max and it is sent and he's now got it. What we've done is we've made it smart so that it's never going to send an email without you proofing it. It can set calendar invites and do all those things. So if you're part of our Google beta, we're going to show you in the hour after this how people are using this to be their transaction coordinator. Because if you think about what's possible, it can pull all the key dates out of the file, put them in your calendar, and there you go. Max is showing you he already got the email. So that's the high level of what's happening. There's three ways that we make the platform smarter. Number one is by uploading your knowledge. In this knowledge base, uh, you can upload an enormous amount of information, CSVs, PDFs, onboarding guides, things like this. The magic that we do is in the back end, we figure out using our intellectual property, what is this? When do we need to use it? What's important and what's not important in here? And we do this fully hands-free for you. You'll probably never open this screen, but the team has now given you the ability to come in and add topics and say, hey, this is an important thing for onboarding. This is an important thing for offboarding, whatever. And you can add those topics and you can curate this, but we're doing it fully hands-free for you. And then we've also now given you the ability to modify in this permissive layer how the assistant can use these different things to support anybody that it talks to, just your associates, or even subgroups. So if you're going to set up your agent teams in the platform, those would be private subgroups, and I'll show you how that works in a second. And this permissions layer exists across all of the ways that we teach BrokerBot. So way number one, you upload things. Way number two is through the web crawler. Web crawl is really simple. There's a list of domains that we have pre-provisioned, and then your brokerage owners, your account owners, they can add domains to this. The reason we don't give it access to the full internet is we would never want you to say, how do I do a short sale? And it goes and it finds some person's blog article on Reddit that is wrong. And so you and your brokers can put in the URLs that you want it to crawl. And so as we started talking about those workflows, like, hey, you want it to help do your property verifications, you want it to look up licenses, you want it to run comps, provide broker price opinions, just add the websites you want it to use. The key here is it will not today punch through password protected websites. That's something that'll likely get done in the future. But for today, anything that is publicly available on the web, it has the ability to go crawl and retrieve in real time. Now, the third way that we augment the knowledge is through natural language training. And so what you'll see here, I was sending a calendar invite to my friend Rich to meet and set up his accounts. And then I noticed that it didn't put a Google Meet on the invite. And so I told it, hey, when you do this, you should always include this. Well, two things happened in this chat. Number one is it fixed the meeting invite. And number two, it took this as a learning moment. And what you see here is the machine is teaching itself. This is a clear process correction, and this is how I fix this. So if you're an agent using the platform and there's something that you want it to remember, you can just tell it, hey, I want you to remember this. I want you to save this for training. Now, the caveat here is your leadership has to approve, reject, or refine these. But for leadership, you have the ability to scope these to anybody that talks to BrokerBot, your internal agents, or private all the way down to an individual agent or team. So we can create a tremendous amount of personalization inside of the platform for your users within your brokerages. I'm going to pause for a second and look at chat. Um, yeah, awesome. Yes. Lisa Harvey says, when you say Opus, are you referring to Opus Clip? What I'm referring to is Anthropic's Claude Opus models. They have a number of these. They have Claude Opus, Claude Sonnet, etc. William says, can this AI be able to create booklet for a potential seller and buyer? The short answer is it'll create all the content today and it can generate images. But I'm not aware of a tool that just like spits out a full 25-page PDF booklet that's like turnkey. If you find that, tell us about it. We'd love to integrate it. Um, so that's training. Training is the third and final way that we augment the knowledge of the machine. Now we give you 5 ways to talk to the machine. Number one is we provision a phone number and a broker hotline. This phone number sits behind voice AI, SMS, and MMS. So think for a minute, you're out in the field, your client says, hey, I really like those trees. What kind of tree is that? Take a picture, text it to BrokerBot. It'll give you the answer instantly. You're sitting in front of a contract trying to fill it out. Take a picture. What do I put on line, whatever, of this contract? You can text it, call it, um, and everything that you do will be back when you log in the platform that you can always pick up those conversations online. And so here for our leaders, this is a new feature that we've launched. There's now a chat widget that is trained on all your same knowledge. So across all these channels, there's one assistant at the center of it. The email announcement for this goes out later today. And this chat widget you can configure and you just grab this little snippet of code and you embed this on your website and it can sit publicly on your website and chat with customers and support them. Or you can flip this toggle and that will make it an internal widget. And so we have some large customers that have their own intranets where they're putting BrokerBot in the intranet. So you flip the switch on or off if you want it to be internal or external. And now you just give one more place that BrokerBot can chat with your agents, your clients, etc. Next up from there is we integrate with Slack. Now, obviously, agents can always use this on the web or on their phone. And on the web is where you're going to get the most horsepower. But when you integrate with Slack, BrokerBot can join the Slack team and it'll join a channel. You just say at BrokerBot the same way that you would add a person, and it will be able to respond. And it'll still have all the utility of the things that are in your knowledge base, etc. Now, if you're part of our Google beta, you will see these options here. If you are not part of our Google beta, we'll be launching this publicly as part of our Pro subscription in January. If you'd like to be added to the Google beta, maybe somebody from the BrokerBot team could drop the Google beta sign up link in the chat and people can add. There's no cost for the Google beta. I want to be fully transparent. When we ingest the entirety history of your Gmail and your Google Calendar, it is not free for us. Excuse me, to be able to process all that data. So we are going to have to charge something for that. We don't know how much yet, but what we're looking to do is learn. So that's why we're giving it away for now so that we can see how much processing power this eats up and what we'll need to charge. Yvonne asked a really good question. Is it possible to add the chatbot to KW agent sites? Yes, is the short answer. In probably the middle of Q1, maybe the end, we will release a new functionality that we call assistance, which Yvonne, what that would give you the ability to do is to actually create your own assistant. So you would get your own chatbot with its own instructions, with its own phone number that knows everything about your agent business, that truly is like your EA that you own and can train. Today, it's going to be the brokerage level information. We're probably 6 to 8 weeks away from having something that is much more configurable for you at the agent level. And sorry, I'm assuming you're an agent because you asked about agent websites. If you're in leadership, same answer. Terry asked for the link. Yeah, Sean, if you could open that up and drop it in there, that'd be great, just so that we can capture people that are interested in that. We can add them. All right. Now, the next thing here is API. So for some of our large enterprise customers, you can manage your roster via API. If you are not a large enterprise customer writing to an API, what we do is we set up groups in here. Now, these groups can support maybe you have a commercial division or a luxury division or even agent teams. So, for example, if you're an agent team leader, we can set you up as the team leader of your team. And then we can put all the agents in your team that are members in here. And when we do that, then what we do is we go back to that knowledge base and we create a knowledge folder so that we can have that knowledge folder scoped specifically to just your team. So now we can upload your team's listing presentation, your buyer presentation, ICAs, standard operating procedures, and BrokerBot can support your team right within the brokerage, and only the agents on your team will have visibility into what BrokerBot is doing. So that's a really cool new feature. I think that is massively underutilized. For our leaders that are on that are on the call today and on our platform, you should be setting a consulting appointment with your team leaders and building this out for them because it's an executive assistant for the team level. It can role play and coach and train. It can work with them, and it does it all based on the team's exact policies. Um, so make sure you set that up. Once you set up your groups, we invite everybody to the tool. There's a couple roles here. There's owners and there's members. The biggest difference between owners and members is owners can set up and control everything I showed you. Members are users of the platform, but owners have the ability to, go in so you can see all your agents' chats and you can support them. And moreover, we can go in here and we can look up individual agent chats and help them. Now, one of the tools that you saw in that original tool slide is translation. BrokerBot now speaks 33 different languages. Um, and so we have a lot of brokerages, especially like in the Bay Area, et cetera, where there's people speaking Mandarin, Cantonese, in different languages, and they're using BrokerBot in their native language, both over the phone, in text, on the web. And maybe the leadership doesn't speak that language. Well, you can come right in here and say, at Maximo, maybe Maximo's talking to it in Spanish. He's mostly talking to you in Spanish. Can you summarize his last 5 conversations in English so that I understand what he needs help with? And BrokerBot can do that for you right with inside this tool. And so the way I got here is I clicked on this, and then we call this chat with my chats. This is a great way to understand how your team's using the platform and support you. Now, that provisioning we typically do with the brokerage leadership team. We get them set up, we invite the agents, and they start to train on and use it. There's a new piece of functionality that we have not rolled out to more than just a few people. We have a couple large associations and MLSs that we're working with. And what that is doing here is this is an escalations platform. So what this allows us to do is actually give keywords so that when the keyword is said, like human, or I need you to escalate this, or get me help, that BrokerBot now has the ability to fire an email and a text off to groups of leaders within your offices and even create tickets in Zendesk or in your email ticketing system. So for our larger brokerage customers where you are like actually managing a ticket backlog for your agents, you can now put BrokerBot as like frontline tier one support across all of your different channels, and it can manage this at the front end and then escalate. So if you're somebody that's interested in getting this escalations feature turned on for your office to help us test it, just send us a note to support@brokerbot.ai, and we'll get you added to that, train you on how it works, and help you get set up. High level, that is how the platform works today. And I'm curious for the 100 plus of you that are still here, go in the chat. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like, I didn't see anything that I hadn't seen before, like I already knew this, to 1, like I'm using 1% of this. Where are you at? Just drop a number in the chat. Are you like a 5, an 8, a 2? Okay, I see a 3, a 4, I see a 1, a 5, a 1, a 15, a 19. I love the 19. Um, I didn't know you can use different languages. That gets me excited. That's amazing. All right, let's do this. Now, what did you hear here that is the first thing that you want to go use after you hang up on this call? Yvette, I'm going to assume for you it's the different languages. Um, Two, using to communicate with clients. I love that. Um, Set up teams. I love that one. That's a really good one. Google integrations, web integration, team folders. Yes, this is amazing. This is why we're doing this because, like, we are building software so quickly, um, and we try to tell you all about it in email. But I know that this isn't like the only thing you're doing in your lives, and so we wanted to take this opportunity so that you all understand what's possible. Um, A to Z. I love it, William. Okay, I'm going to go back into the platform for a minute, and I want to show you a couple more things we've been working on that are cool. So if we use this preliminary contract review assistant, what this is going to do is it's going to go through your contract, extract your key dates, and then it's going to look in your office's knowledge base for Robert, I see your question. I want to talk about that for a second. Um, this is going to go look for your file turn in checklist, and then it's going to give you a reconciliation between like what's in my contract, is it filled out correctly, and do I have all the forms that I need for my file turn in checklist? Okay. Now, once you do that, BrokerBot will have extracted all the key dates out of your contract. So you could say, hey, now be my transaction coordinator. Write an intro email to my client summarizing all those key dates. Add those key dates to my calendar. It'll add the option period or the inspection period dates to your calendar. Invite my client to those dates. It's really like this is where the limits of the technology really are imagination today. And so that's why we're doing this to teach you all. Now, Robert asked a really important question. And Robert, I see you just sent it to hosts and panelists, but I'm going to share because it's important. And what Robert said is, I'm talking like, and this isn't what Robert said, this is what I'm saying. I'm talking like everybody already knows where to start with AI. There are some of you on here that maybe you're not quite as far along, and we need to take a step back to go forward. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit new chat. Let me give you a couple really like 101 level tactical things. If I come here and I just say, what can you do for me? BrokerBot will tell you what it can do for you, and it can help you. Um, and it gives you some ideas. Now, inevitably, when it starts doing this, somebody's going to say, well, can you do that? Can you stage a house? Can you make a phone call for me? Whatever. And it will tell you what it can and can't do for you. And what I'll encourage you to do is ask this more than once because we are on a continuous deployment cycle where every day we're updating the tool and adding functionality. So then when I come in here and I say, well, like, all right, well, maybe I want to, I'm just looking through this. Okay, so how do I edit an image in BrokerBot? And you can just talk to it the same way that you would talk to a human, and it will give you the answers in natural language and it will work with you. It will not get frustrated. It will just be helpful. Okay. And so it can help you do all these things for you. Now, I want to give you kind of a quick tip on this. If you all are logged in and you go to the knowledge base and you go to BrokerBot libraries, you're all going to have access to this BrokerBot support library. We have put in here for you this AI prompts guide. A lot of real estate companies out there have shipped AI assistants. What those AI assistants are a number of pre-written prompts like these that you go in and you click on them and they do things for you. It's useful. In our world, we think we could do something more sophisticated than that, but we also understand that some of you may not exactly know where to start. So these quick start guides are in here in the knowledge base. So again, to get back there, knowledge, BrokerBot libraries, BrokerBot support, and there's like a power features one that will give you some kind of more sophisticated use cases. And then there's the quick start guide here. So if you all haven't used these, make sure you get in there and check those out. Those will definitely help you. But BrokerBot is a support assistant. So if you ever have questions about how to do something, literally ask BrokerBot, like, hey, I'm trying to run comps for a client and I'd like you to help me. What's the best way for me to ask you to do that? The more information that you give it, the better it's able to support you. If you talk to it the way that we've been trained to talk to Google, which is hunt and peck, like wood fence installer, uh, it's going to be a lot less helpful. So try to use complete sentences, give it as much information as you can, etc. Was that helpful? Pause, questions, thoughts, feedback on that? Cool. All right, I got a thumbs up. That means I'm good to rock and roll. Okay, good. That's good. That was very helpful. Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out, Robert. I appreciate that. I'm going to pop back in here. And I was on a call with the leaders for Keller Williams Market Center #1 this morning, Austin Southwest. And they said, you know, what's the most impressive thing that you can show me? And I don't know. Like, I think like thousands of tests of machine learning and how we drive accuracy and all that is really exciting. But I'm also a nerd. So what I've learned is that most people don't care about that. They just expect it to work. But as real estate people, we like when this thing can help us with marketing. So what I want to share with you all is we quietly, over the last few weeks, have implemented Google's new image gen model. It's called Nano Banana Pro. I'm sorry about the name. I didn't come up with it, but that's what it's called. And we have taken and we have wrapped Nano Banana Pro in our thinking model. Now, we have some exceptional software engineers on our team, and the remit for them is they have to make it so simple that a somebody like a real estate agent that is not technical can't screw it up. We're getting there. It's very close. But what I want to show you is, and I don't know how many of you have ever tried to like virtually stage a property. I'm going to intentionally give it a really challenging one. And I'm going to give it a bad prompt. And I'm just going to say, here, I'll even just say stage this kitchen. Now, this kitchen presents a really complex problem because the photographer that took this like broke the proportion and the depth is really hard for the machine to read. If you've ever tried to do this in OpenAI or any of these other models, it just doesn't work well. And so what you're seeing here is our thinking model is figuring out what you want it to do. Um, and it is, we redact like the custom instructions because we don't want to give away all of our secret sauce. And you'll see in the first cut, it didn't pass muster. And it says like, nah, this wasn't good. And so it is fixing itself and redoing this for you. And this is the magic of our thinking model sitting on top of like the most cutting edge Gemini models. Um, I'm sorry, my internet is chopping in and out here. So I got to let me just undo my share, reshare, refresh. All right, we're back. And so we were able to go from this to this with a terrible prompt. Now, if you have ever tried to do this, this is going to look like sorcery. Um, and what's crazy is now this thing can actually process text. So I can say, now add the words virtually staged to the bottom of it. I know a lot of MLSs require that anything that is generated with AI or virtually staged has to have a watermark. And so in the old world, it would like turn this into Sanskrit and be mostly gobbledygook. Um, yeah, Cindy, my fave is when it virtually deletes windows and adds doors. It will still do that. This technology is not perfect. Um, it will do that a lot less, and it is a lot better at fixing itself now. And so what you'll see here is it just said virtually staged. It's in English. It is spelled correctly. It's on the photo at the bottom. Like, y'all, you don't realize this is like millions of dollars of the most sophisticated technology that has ever existed in human history could not put words on a picture without you physically typing them until about 2 weeks ago. It's a comical thing. And look, it's still not as good as having a human go in and touch and do things. But what you're seeing is just this massive acceleration of improvement in these tools. And so what I want you all to get excited about is that everybody asks us like, well, what happens when, the next Grok or OpenAI or Gemini thing comes out? Like, will I still need BrokerBot? And the answer is, I don't know that you need us. You could go buy a lot of these tools and hire engineers. You could do it on your own. But our job is to make it easy and make sure you have access to the best tools in a way that doesn't require you to go have multiple $200 a month subscriptions. So, um, I would really encourage you all to get in here. And yeah, Sean also said I also didn't have to fill out 32 drop-down menus and tell you what I want. Like I literally just said, stage this kitchen, which by the way is the worst possible staging prompt that you can give. If you give it a better prompt, it will work significantly better. Like put a vase on the counter, don't put chairs, put a rug in the floor, change the walls to black. The more concise your instructions, the better it will do. Um, and so let me see what else we got going on there. Scanning, agent questions and urgency, exterior images of a home regarding landscapes and color ideas. Yeah, totally. Look, Terry, I had a buddy that was looking at buying a house, and it was a nice house, like $2 million house. And he's like, I just don't, I can't get my head around it because it was like super Southwestern. And I said, like, hey, watch this. I went out back, took a picture of the mountain range behind it, took a picture of the room, and I went to BrokerBot and I said, hey, put like a full glass wall of windows sliding door. And then when you put that, you'll see the mountain range. And it generated it. And I showed it to him and I'm like, here's what it would look like if you did this. And it's instant. He's like, that's what I needed to see. That makes sense. Most people don't have that imagination. And this tech can definitely help you do this. Uh, so let's see. Um, there's a question. Can you please address the rights of BrokerBot to use this chat GPT and other platforms to distribute the product? We have licensing agreements with all of the different models that we are plugged into. Um, I don't know if that's what your question is. More importantly, we have a data, what are called sub-processor agreements so that the information that you upload into the platform cannot be used by them for training. It won't ever be shared. Whereas if you all are using ChatGPT and these tools off the shelf today, like you're giving them license to train on your customers' data. And you should be really thoughtful about that because if you upload a contract with customer PII in the data, you could inadvertently be creating a data breach uh, for your customers' information. Whereas if you put it in our platform, it all lives on our servers and we keep it secure. Um, and then, oh, okay. And then we simply have a question regarding others' rights to shut it down. I mean, look, we do rely on third-party models to do these things, but so does like every company in the world. Uh, it would be hard for me to believe that OpenAI and these other companies would fully pull the plug on third parties using their APIs, because that is where they make 90% of their revenue. But I guess in theory that could happen. There's a good question. Is there a BrokerBot app or do we just go to the website? You can use it on the web and in mobile web. There is not a native app for BrokerBot today. That is something that's on the roadmap for next year. When we do that, what we want to do is actually turn that into like an assistant that you can bring with you. So picture in the BrokerBot app, being able to take that and you sit at your listing with your client, you go, hey, I'm going to just turn on my assistant here. It'll take some notes for us. And so now BrokerBot could listen to your listing presentation. And then at the end of that listing presentation, it could say like, hey, here's all the things that you told told the customer you would do for them. Here's what's next, etc. And then because it's wired into your Gmail and everything else, you can say like, hey, I told him I would find him a plumber. Email the three plumbers from our vendor list and ask who can come first. So when we do that, we want to make it a thing that you can like take portable with you and not just have like a another chat interface. So until we're ready to do that, like assistant recording work, we probably won't do the native app. And I think that'll be sometime next year. I just don't know when. Bill asked a question. What are the plans to work with Outlook? Bill, I'm going to give you the answer that you're going to love to hear, which is we've already done the work to support Outlook. We just need to finish some testing to turn it live. Um, my engineering friends on this call are going to like not be super happy with me, but I think we'll probably get that done in January. I will let you know as soon as that goes live. I'm reading. Yeah, Terry asked a really good question. With web crawler, when you give it websites domains to pull from, will it pull everything from that domain, including subdomains? The short answer is yes, if as long as it's on the top level domain. So if it's like help.brokerbot.ai, it'll read anything that's there. But if it's on brokerbot.ai, it won't read it. You would need to add both of the domains. If it's just like brokerbot.ai / anything, it'll read through all that. Asterisk. It is reliant on its ability to crawl and read the meta descriptions of the pages the same way that a web crawler is. So if your website has really terrible SEO, our tool is going to have a really terrible time reading it. If your SEO and your meta tags are all set up properly, it will be super easy and it'll work really well for you. Future integrations with Canva. Oh my gosh. All right. We've met with a team from Canva probably a month ago. And they gave us a really cool API where if you are a part of like Keller Williams or Better Homes and Gardens or one of these brands where you have a Canva brand library, we can actually take and create marketing materials in your brand library in Canva from within BrokerBot. Um, we've been testing that. A few of you have actually like found a little leak where it was linking you to Canva. It's just a matter of time before we get that live. What else? What other questions, thoughts, feedback? Okay, coming down to the last few minutes here. The things that we are working on next is what we're calling a pro subscription. The way I want you to think about this is that these will be um, like the highest capacity tools, models, et cetera, that we can work on. But what I really think the promise of BrokerBot is that BrokerBot can do work in the background. And so today, the only way we can create tasks for the future inside BrokerBot is if you're part of the Google beta, you can say like, hey, send me a calendar invite. Where this technology goes is that this should be an always on assistant that is listening and watching and helping you navigate life. And so throughout the first and second quarter of next year, we will create more and more work that happens in the background, meaning the machine will be able to listen and read your email, look at your calendar, have all the context of the chats you're having with it. And so imagine you wake up in the morning and it says, hey, Max, I took a look at your calendar today. It looks like you didn't mark off enough time for drive time between these two meetings. Do you want me to try and move that second one back a little bit for you later today? That's not science fiction of a thing that is possible in the future. That's just engineering work that we need to do. I actually met with one of the people that's responsible for AI innovation at the National Association about 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago now. And his feedback on our tool said, Jeremiah, I've seen no less than 30 slide decks that promise to do what you just showed me. But this is the first and only tool I've actually seen live do this in a production environment. And I think that was a pretty cool moment for me. So keep in mind, everything you are touching, everything I just showed to you has been built in the last year. And so this is how far we've come in year one. We have made a tremendous machine learning and data science investment into having this plumbing project that can do all these things. And as we start to bolt more and more tools into this and orchestrate workflows for you, it's really wild to think about what's possible. So I want to thank everybody for spending an hour with us on this today. If you are a customer, please reach out to us. We want to help you all use the platform even more. If you are thinking about being a customer, book a demo. We'd love to show it to you one-on-one and see if it's something that works for your organization. But most importantly, I hope everybody has a great holiday, gets a little bit of downtime, because I think 2026 is going to be an amazing year for real estate. And if you're a BrokerBot customer, we want to help you create efficiency and scale in a way that hasn't been done before. So thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you soon.